everybody, so it's me, Destiny, again, and I am here for an episode of Let's Talk Life. And I am doubling this, just to be honest and frank with y'all, as an assignment for school. So I'll be sharing this with my class. Hey class, hey guys. And then I wanted to put it on YouTube because I feel like what we're learning about is something that someone out there can benefit from, and hopefully you take something away from this. So we're going to be talking about the SCARF model, and basically, I must say basically a whole bunch, but at the core of things, us being humans, every decision you make and everything that you do is based off of either moving away from threat, away from fear, or towards something that is pleasurable, towards a reward. So whether you realize it or not, that is how we operate. And SCARF takes it a little bit deeper and talks about how we move towards and away from a threat within status, certainty, autonomy, relatedness, and fairness. So I'll just go through each one and hopefully have some visuals here, and I hope that you can hear me because it is kind of windy, but it's so pretty outside and I just really wanted to do this in the natural light. So status, I'll give you one way that you may, when interacting with people, threaten their status, and another way that you can reward people's status. So one way that we might find we're threatening people's status without realizing it is giving advice. People don't want advice. Whenever we're given advice or instructions or told to do something, it automatically puts a wall, and we just shut down and we're not even going to listen, because at the end of the day, or we become we feel threatened and we kind of become defensive and question you or whoever posed the threat, because now we feel like, oh, you think you're better than me because you know what to tell me what to do, or how you gonna tell me what to do? Like, you don't know nothing. How you know my job? Like, how you know my life? You don't know my life. That type of situation. How you can reward someone's status, and again, status is simply where we feel we are in life, in a social organization, in a career, or within a company. How you can reward that is by simply paying attention to the learning and improving that someone is doing, and even more so, reward yourself and pay attention to the improvement that you've made to yourself. A status reward can come simply by saying, man, I did better on this exam than I did on the last one. Man, I did better at this performance than I did at the last one. This game was really good compared to the last one. So just taking evaluation of yourself and looking and seeing where you're at will maintain that. Certainty is when, well, basically I told you I was gonna say basically. We as humans, we love our patterns, we love our routines, we love to know what is coming, and to know what is expected of us. So one way that people threaten our certainty and cause us to move away from them or from whatever the situation may be is changes of any kind, to be honest. And that's kind of big, especially since we are talking about coaching through change. So changes of any kind can mess with your orbital frontal cortex, and that's a big word, and I had to read it off my paper, I'm not even gonna lie, but that's the part of the brain that you're messing with. And whenever we come into a situation and for example, we come into a meeting and we were told that the meeting was going to have breakfast. Something petty, but so we didn't eat breakfast this morning because normally it's breakfast at this meeting, and then we come in and there's no breakfast, and our orbital frontal cortex says hold up, and then maybe the speaker is not the same speaker that's normally there. We're just like, ding 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 ding, this does not feel right. And so we kind of cut things off in our minds, and we can't focus on what the ultimate goal is because we're trying to figure out why these changes happen. So that threat to certainty will move us away from actually focusing and understanding what's going on. Now, if we want to reward certainty and in people and things, so you want to show up on time. Like if you have meetings, weekly meetings or something, a coaching session, like be there on time when you say that you're gonna be there. Have it in a meeting space that is comfortable and something that is familiar to the person who you're meeting with, and don't change that often. Like basically avoid change, or if you are changing, make sure you're communicating that change, which leads to autonomy. Threats to our autonomy is, again, giving instructions. Like when we tell people or micromanage them and don't give them the freedom and responsibility that they deserve as humans, that becomes a threat. And that's why a lot of people are unhappy in most corporate 9-to-5 jobs, is because they're being micromanaged. And not even just those types of jobs, anywhere. Like if you're micromanaging your people, then you're threatening their sense of certainty and autonomy, and maybe not improving their lives like you could be, and having the best organization. So you want to reward their autonomy by giving people choices. Don't say, hey, do this. Say, hey, I have these 2 solutions. Which one do you prefer to implement? Things like that. Relatedness is the next one that we're going to talk about, and relatedness is basically how we interact with each other on the highest level, essentially. So the funny thing about relatedness is, a threat to relatedness is new social connections. So when we meet new people, we always are like, when we're at like networking events, we feel like we need alcohol to inhibit that part of our brain that says, hey, I don't know you, I don't want to know you, I don't need to know you, you're not in my circle, da da da. So one way to get away from using alcohol all the time at networking events and meeting new people is to build oxytocin, or release oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone that makes you feel good. It really does. It makes you feel good. So some ways that you can do that is handshakes, hugs, and if you're not big on shaking hands or like that type of initial contact with a stranger, maybe asking questions and getting to know them a little bit better, finding out what you have in common so you realize that they're not a foe and we can, you know, kind of become friends with these strangers. Another way might be to just swap names. Learn that person's name. I promise we're not gonna blow away, y'all. But yeah, learning that person's name and using their name and getting to know them. That's it. That's really all it is. After you do that, then you're building that relatedness, and this is helpful because you might come into a company or an environment where you're put into a team of people that you don't really know, and it's going to be very difficult to accomplish the goal. Again, like I said, with certainty, your brain will shut off if you haven't built those connections. So last but not least is fairness. And fairness is essentially when we feel like someone is getting something different or better than us, and it's not an equal playing field, which goes back to that status. They're all related. They're all related. So one way that we may threaten fairness to people is by like having hidden agendas, or like not being transparent and not paying attention to them, maybe ignoring them. And that can happen a lot in corporate America, or in the corporate world, not just corporate America, all over the world, anywhere, or in relationships where we get caught up in the fact of doing just our job, and like I said again, giving instructions and just passing down, this is what you're supposed to do, stay in your lane type situations. So we want to be transparent and let people know, okay, hey, you're getting paid this much because you have these qualifications, this person gets this because this, just having everything out there and making sure that you are being fair when dealing with people. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Just kind of keep that in mind when you are going about your day-to-day and relating with these people. I know that was a lot. I'm gonna post maybe an infographic or something that will help to kind of understand what SCARF is and how you can use it in your day-to-day. I hope that you guys enjoyed this and found it valuable to your life. And if you would like to see more, again, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments about the SCARF model and want to talk a little bit more about how we move away from certain things and towards certain things, please leave comments. And until next time, I'll see you later, guys.